that could be a buzzkill after getting to see Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega and CM Punk cutting a promo against a guy like Powerhouse Hobbs is that we had to sit through MJF coming out, the biggest dirtbag in professional wrestling, as I like to say. SPD, this one was, as we talked about, an iron sharpens iron experience. How do you feel like this one turned out?
It was very hard to follow all this stuff for sure, but I think MJF stock is still rising now after this one. We kind of predicted or hoping maybe Pillman's stock would rise a little bit, but I think MJF's stock is rising much more after this. I mean, both, Pillman's gear was great. MJF came out with new gear. The guy, MJF, man, he just does everything right. And even the announcers, they could not, give him props for how good he is. They're calling him how horrible he is, and the scum of scum, the bacteria on the scum, all the things that we say to try to relatively PG-13 what they really want to say as well. But the guy, I mean, he can sell with his facial expressions. It sells with his body. I mean, he sells so well, and he tells such a good story. And the stuff with Julia Hart as well. And, I think the guy, what a
jerk moment that was.
As much as we hate him, it's as much as we love him, right? So we'll just give it a quick, public service announcement. Dynamite Download is endorsed by himself, the Salt of the Earth, MJF.
But if the guy's going to take some time to come in here and hang out with us, that he secretly likes us.
That's true. And like I said on our show yesterday, and like what you're seeing in the chat is, I think the biggest turn out of Wardlow will be the one where he puts MJF in his place, kind of shuts him up at least for a little bit, begging for mercy, begging for him to stop with the pain. And then he'll give him the ultimate thumbs up, thumb down. The crowd will go berserk, and then he'll knock MJF out for sure.
Love that idea.
Dave Bautista.
I love that idea. That visual of him kind of giving him the crowd, and the crowd would be fully behind that. I love that idea. The crowd, understandably, I felt like took a little time to get behind this one. But as soon as MJF went to he kept digging deep into his bag of tricks to get people to hate him and to cheer Pillman. When he stood behind Julia Hart, what an absolute piece of garbage that guy is. And hey, props to him. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, my friends. And he pulled off another W, and he showed the world why he was Bonds' number 1 overall pick. Bonds, where do you see MJF going after this one in a much needed victory that you said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know. I think that this could be one of those things that starts off some one-off feuds for him. This might be the best way to do that. Have him do some one-off stuff, maybe get him pushed a little bit, and that's where we see the Wardlow turn. I do think that's kind of the end game for this right now, and it's being set up, and it's smart, and it's taken a long time, and it's going to be a great payoff because it's taken so long. They didn't rush it. They didn't go, okay, we got this big guy that everybody likes who's really good in the ring. Let's just do it now. No, they're making us wait for it. They're making us like really be like, okay, like we want Wardlow to turn. Like this guy's awful. Like we hate MJF and we want this guy to like beat him up so bad. Well, I think that having him go against a lot of like baby faces like Pillman is going to just get that heat even more because again, there's only so much you can do only so many times you can do the same match with Inner Circle like that. That's good that it's over. That's good now. And now they can focus on, okay, let's maybe turn Wardlow. Let's maybe get MJF even more heat. Maybe put him in some sort of title pictures even too, and maybe have that be where the turn happens. Like, who knows? I think that would be an interesting thing, especially if, Sammy Guevara wins the TNT title, which is potentially happening. So that could be another setup there where we get some like, okay, MJF's in the title picture now. Maybe that's where that turn comes, makes that turn a little bit more important. I think that would be kind of cool. A lot of fun. I want to see him in that picture because again, this guy doesn't need the belt, but how awful would he be with a belt, guys? How
can it get
amazing.
worse? Can it get more awful?
I mean, when we were doing our fantasy booking weeks and weeks ago now, I remember, we all talked about it. MJF with the TNT title seems like such a great fit, just a guy who can just be braggadocious, be the face of the brand,
always defending it on TV.
Yeah, I think that like MJF with some sort of gold, although not needed, certainly would put him over the top and give him more reason to rub our noses in how great he is, and that's what makes him so good at what he does. I gotta say, we're talking a lot about Wardlow turning on MJF, and we know that that MJF is clearly a fan of this show and listens.
Yeah,
thank you for tuning in.
Maybe we're spoiling it for the War Dog. Maybe the war plans are spoiled, and MJF is seeing this and is already plotting for a way to be one step ahead of the War Dog. We never know with MJF. The one thing is for sure, we don't know what's next for him. But we do know that guy is somewhere scheming, figuring out a way to get more green and gold, because that's what MJF likes.
And whoever he's going to face is probably going to lose, because
gold, and margaritas for MJF, baby, all day.